Hey gamers, recently, I just finished playing Horizon Forbidden West and even got my platinum. The game's world is right up my alley with its amazing machines and the awesome combination of sci-fi and dinosaurs. I'm sure many of you couldn't resist its charm. Today, I want to introduce you to some cool machines in the game and also provide the design prototypes behind them. Some are pretty obvious, while others might surprise you. So, let's see if your favorite machines made it into today's video. Alright, without further ado, let's get started. Alright, first up is the Clawstrider, which I consider one of the coolest machines in the entire game. Its distinctive feature is the razor-sharp blades that it swings around, causing quite a painful impact. The design prototype for this creature has been a bit controversial, but it's believed to be one of the subspecies of the Velociraptors. Velociraptors are actually quite small, about the size of a turkey. They look quite different from their portrayal in the movies. I remember when I was a kid, I really loved Velociraptors from Jurassic Park. I thought they were incredibly cool, swift, and fierce with their pack-hunting behavior. And in the Jurassic World movies, they were even cooler, seemingly intelligent and capable of communicating with humans. They were definitely one of my favorite dinosaurs. But then here comes the Clawstrider, which with a size very different from a turkey. Who knows, maybe it tastes worse than a turkey too. The Clawstrider is clearly designed based on the size of the movie's Velociraptors, slightly larger than humans, standing at around 3 meters tall. They're quite common machines in the game, with various variations, and they have two primary attack methods. One is swiping at your face with their bladed tail, and the other is jumping up and grabbing at you with their claws. This move is actually seen in the movies, so the authenticity is pretty high, staying true to the signature moves of the Velociraptors. Alright, the next one is the Plowhorn. In the game, it's designed as a gathering machine that helps humans with farming. Let's take a sneak peek at its farming prowess. Not only does it have front horns for tilling the soil, but its tail also splits into two branches, resembling farming tools like a rake. It can bend and operate efficiently, making it a perfect farming machine. The prototype for the Plowhorn is likely the Triceratops, a herbivorous dinosaur that lived in the Cretaceous period. Triceratops could reach a length of about 7 to 10 meters. However, in the game, the Plowhorn is estimated to be around 4 to 5 meters, so the proportions aren't entirely true to reality. When it gets angry, it shoots sticky fluid from its horns, making it difficult for Aloy to move. Its weak points are large and its wings are obvious, and its movements aren't particularly fast, making it quite easy to defeat. Alright, next up is the Rockbreaker. Without a doubt, its prototype is likely the Mole. Mole are burrowing mammals that typically live underground and can measure around 2 to 30 centimeters in length. The Rockbreaker, on the other hand, is estimated to be at least 5 to 6 meters, well, a bit cuter when smaller as expected. Up close, the Rockbreaker looks a bit disgusting. Just look at its mouth, quite terrifying. The most notable feature of Mole is their oversized claws, which they use for digging tunnels. If you manage to break its claws, it can no longer burrow underground. In the game, the Rockbreaker can be quite challenging. It's not easy to defeat, and unexpectedly, its claws are tough to dismantle. Its attacks from underground are also difficult to avoid. Additionally, this creature is quite rare. I played for over 60 hours and encountered it only once in a side quest. I've never come across it while exploring the open world. It's quite different from the common ground moles you see everywhere in Pokémon. By the way, does anyone know the difference between mole and mole rats? Please leave a comment and let me know. Alright, next up is a machine that should have quite a following, the Sunwing. Its prototype is clearly a pterosaur, a flying reptile that existed from the late Triassic to the end of the Cretaceous period. The wingspan of the Quetzalcoatlus, a genus of a pterosaur, exceeded 10 meters, which is quite surprising. It's much larger than you might have imagined. In the game, the Sunwing is estimated to be around 3 to 4 meters, so it's definitely not the Quetzalcoatlus. The Sunwing is the first flying machine in the game that you can ride. It's an absolute joy to ride on, as it greatly reduces the difficulty of traversing the map. You can move around freely and effortlessly, and you can easily fly to high mountains to enjoy the view. In the later stages of the game, I often find myself casually riding the Sunwing everywhere. As an enemy, the Sunwing can be a bit tricky. Its weak points are very small and hard to target, especially its shield caster. They are incredibly tiny and extremely difficult to dismantle. The plasma attacks from the Sunwing are also infrequent and challenging to deal with. When hit by the plasma, it accumulates damage over time, and when the effect ends, it explodes, often catching me off guard. Sometimes I don't even realize I'm affected by the plasma, and then suddenly, boom, I'm dead. In summary, the Sunwing, as an enemy, is quite challenging to handle during the early to middle stages of the game. Next up is the famous Thunderjaw, which already gained tremendous popularity in the previous game, Zero Dawn. Its prototype is clearly the renowned Tyrannosaurus rex, with a protagonist-like presence both in Zero Dawn and the Jurassic Park movie, who can resist a combination of machinery and a tyrannosaur. It's truly magnificent and strikes a chord with the inner child in me. By the way, it seems that the official model kit of the Thunderjaw has recently become available for pre-order. It's set to be released at the end of this year and looks absolutely mind-blowing. I'm really eager to get my hands on it. In the game, the Thunderjaw is equipped with weapons all over its body, making it a killing machine. It's extremely challenging to deal with, and in the early stages, encountering one means you have to run for your life. Typically, the initial encounter involves quick destruction of its various components, stripping it of its armor and dismantling its weapons, before slowly taking it down. Alright, after admiring the cool machines, let's take a look at something cute. The Burrower is a recon machine that you encounter very early in the game. It doesn't have much combat power, and it's one of the few machines that can be taken down with only melee attacks. Its prototype is the mink. Although it looks cute, it is a semi-aquatic carnivorous animal, measuring about 60 centimeters in length, slightly larger than your average house cat. However, in the game, the Burrower isn't as cute. It appears slightly larger than a loy, probably around 2 meters in size. Although its combat power is not high, it tends to call for reinforcements. Encountering it in the early stages can easily result in being overwhelmed, and it's not that easy to deal with. Alright, next up, let's talk about one of the coolest looking machines in the game, the Stalker. It's really sneaky and can suddenly appear out of nowhere and bite you without making a sound. It's quite scary. The design of this creature is based on a panther, a mysterious and elusive animal. I can't recall seeing a panther in the zoo, do you? Maybe they can turn invisible too. Who knows? Despite the Stalker's ability to turn invisible, its combat capabilities aren't that high, and its health not substantial, making it relatively easy to deal with. Alright, moving on to the next one, the Clamberjaw. It's a small but deadly machine. Can you guess what animal it's based on? I'll reveal the answer in a moment. These guys are tough to deal with as they always come in packs. They're incredibly agile, leaping around and attacking with great force. I've died numerous times facing them. They have a weak spot on their tail, but it's tiny, and their swift movements make it challenging to hit that weak point. In the later stages of the game, whenever I encounter Clamberjaw, I prefer to avoid them altogether. Alright, time to reveal the answer. The Clamberjaw's prototype is Baboon. Pretty cool, huh? By the way, a little trivia for you. The character in the Disney animated movie The Lion King who holds up Simba is not a baboon, it's actually a mandrill. Mandrills are said to be the largest species of monkeys in the world. Pretty fascinating. Next up is the formidable Tremortusk, which received a lot of attention and promotion when it was introduced in the Forbidden West. It's treated similarly to the Thunderjaw from the previous game. The Tremortusk's prototype is the Mammoth, an ancient mammal that could weigh over 10 tons. This creature is equipped with various weapons all over its body, making it highly powerful and difficult to deal with. I've been killed by it at least 20 times or more. Its weakness is frost attacks. Once you freeze it, it becomes more manageable. By the way, it seems a bit illogical that a mammoth from the Ice Age is afraid of ice. Alright, next up is the first aquatic machine I'm introducing today, the Tidroper. Its prototype is the Plesiosaur, a water-dwelling creature with a body length of around 10 meters. Although not small, modern whales are even larger than the Plesiosaur. The Tidroper is one of the most stylishly designed machine creatures in the game. When I first encountered it during a main quest, it felt like a boss battle, quite imposing. Its combat abilities are above average, making it quite challenging to deal with. However, it's worth noting that our battles with the Tidroper are limited to land, which is a bit unfair. Given its strength on land, it would probably be an invincible force underwater. Next, let me introduce a special creature that rarely appears in gaming or anime works. It's the Spike Snout, which is based on the real-life anteater. The Spike Snout doesn't pose much of a threat in combat, and is relatively easy to handle. However, the largest species of this creature, the giant anteater, can reach a length of about 1.8 meters, which is almost the size of a human. It can be quite intimidating to see in person. Don't you find anteaters to be fascinating creatures? They have such unique appearances and are exclusively anteaters, yet they manage to grow so large just by eating ants. It's intriguing how they are named after their diet. I wonder if they are the only animals named after what they eat. Game characters based on the anteater are also quite rare in the gaming world. Alright, the last creature should be the most powerful machine in this game, the Slaughterspine. Its prototype is the Spinosaurus, a carnivorous dinosaur that lived during the Cretaceous period. It measures approximately 13 meters in length, making it the longest known carnivorous dinosaur, even slightly longer than the Tyrannosaurus rex. Speaking of which, in Jurassic Park, the final boss in the first movie was the T-Rex, and in the third movie it was the Spinosaurus. In the previous Horizon game, The ultimate machine was the Thunderjaw, and in the Forbidden West, it's the Spinosaurus. I wonder if this is a nod to Jurassic Park and implying that the Spinosaurus is even stronger than the T-Rex. The Spinosaurus and the Thunderjaw are quite similar, both being machines born for slaughter, with their entire bodies equipped with various weapons, making them extremely challenging to deal with. The Devourer often employs rare plasma attacks in the game, and it's easy to miss being hit by it. This can lead to being wiped out in a single burst. It truly feels more powerful than the Thunderjaw. Its appearance is undoubtedly one of the top 5 coolest in the entire game. If they release a model kit like the Thunderjaw, I will definitely buy it all. Alright, that's it for today's video. Which machine creature is your favorite? If there are any popular machines I didn't mention today, feel free to let me know in the comments. Okay then, until next time, see you later.